Thank you guys for your patience. I know this weather has thrown everybody off, and so I appreciate you guys coming out and giving us the coverage that you're giving us today. It's very much appreciated. The Aggies are going to the Celebration Bowl for the third time in 4 years. This year they will take on Alcorn State at noon, live on ABC. With us here we have head coach Sam Washington, fresh out of football practice. He will give us an opening statement, and then we'll open the floor for questions. Coach?
All right. Well, I too would like to thank you guys for being here under these conditions. It's a lot of dedication. An opening statement this week. I'm very proud of this group of guys. As I stated earlier, roller coaster season. I thought we came out the gates, swinging hard, and then mid-season we hit a few lulls there, but they persevered. They continued to play, and they believed in each other, and look where we are now. And I'm just very proud of them. Also, the senior class. I think this is one of possibly the most decorated classes in football, and that's anywhere. And the young men have already 4 championships under their belts, and with the opportunity to play for another national championship. And a lot to be said about that, and very proud of them. And it's been a joy and an honor, to work with them. And still have some unfinished business. This is the big one. This is the biggest they get, in my opinion. So playing a very worthy opponent. Alcorn is just a solid football team. They do the little things well. They run the football. And teams that have success running the football generally controls the clock. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how that unfolds. They run the ball. We like stopping the run. So let's put the ball down and play. Questions?
So how has practice been so far this week?
Well, tough, to say the least. But for the most part, I thought practice went very well. The last, just solid practice that we had on Saturday was a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of want to, and I thought we got a lot accomplished, and I was very pleased with the effort that we received.
Having the time off, some coaches like it, some coaches don't. Has it been good for you guys as far as getting healthy? What's your opinion on that?
Well, it's one of those, catch-22. You can go either way with it, but it seemed to have worked in our favor. We've done this 2 years, prior to this, and we have a little system in place that we use, and it seemed to work for us. It gave us the opportunity to go back and work on some of that fine tuning stuff and fundamentals and stuff like that initially, until we found out who we were playing. And once Alcorn won their conference, then we was able to, directly work on schematic stuff. And the things that they do very well, some of the things that they, capable of doing, and some things that they may do. That's the part I don't like. There's too many ifs in it. And when you have all that time to prepare, you find yourself all over the place trying to stop everything. And that's not good. So that would be the only, downside, to having all the time off.
Since they are so good with their running attack, and you guys do like to stop the run, that's one of your mottos. Have you gone back and seen cases where maybe teams did stop the run, and what they did, and does Alcorn can they adjust with the passing game? Is that something that you've looked at?
Well, I don't think, I haven't seen that, but I think it's a necessity for them, at least in their minds. They're going to have to throw the football because we're not going to allow them to run it. So it's going to have to be, some drop back passes, and then I think that's when the quarterback becomes very big threat, because he does a fantastic job breaking down the pocket and taking off running. And once he gets in open field, he's very dangerous. So that is a concern.
Coach, you had a number of players named to the All-MEAC team. Traditionally, how does that impact players going into an extra game? Does that motivate them? Does that make them feel like they have to live up to that billing, or guys who might have been shunned and didn't get an award, they have something to prove? How does that impact players going?
Well, I think it can go either or, you know what I mean? Now, I would like to believe it would work in our favor, having to live up to that bill that, the conference put on. We expect them to play well. You've been decorated now. We'd like to see if you can play at that level. So I think they are worthy. Everybody that was named to the all-conference team have proven themselves year in and year out here. And most of them are, second-year guys. If I'm not mistaken, all of them are. Might be one exception in there. But for the first team, particularly, all those guys made, all-conference last year. And, we're just proud, to have that caliber of players on our team.
Coach, you and Alcorn kicked off the celebrations while playing the first ever game. What's your favorite memory from that game?
The win. Watching Tariq was amazing. The things that he was able to do that day and the runs that he made was, sensational and forever embedded in my mind. The fact that we were able to stop them, they boast about their running threat that year, and defensively we was able to stop them. So I was very pleased with that as well. But if it was one thing, it's Tariq, his performance.
You'll always take your guys over other guys, but how would you compare your running attack versus theirs? They have to worry about your running attack as well.
I guarantee you they better be concerned. And I think I like our running attack. I think we can run the football. I mean, right at you, around you, inside, outside. I think we can run the football exceptionally well, very well. And we have two very capable running backs and an offensive line that don't mind getting after it. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it unfolds.
With your experience, Coach, how beneficial is that with the players that you have that's been there before and they've done this?
Well, absolutely. That experience is huge. And I think it's more so for the little stuff, the things not to do, and what the expectations are. How do we travel? The conduct in which we travel. Those are the things I think experience really, really helps with in this situation.
Adding on that, one of the things I noticed last year is that you guys were a little bit more easy going before the game, and Grambling was a little bit more hyped up. Do you think that is that something you'll be looking into this year as well? Like as far as the conduct, is that kind of what you're referring to as far as how you guys are?
I'm just saying how you behave, in the public. What I really was referring to, the do's and don'ts and expectations of, this university. And being where you're supposed to be, on time. On time is to be late for us. We do everything early. So those are the little things I think really matters.
Hey, Coach, you were in this same position 3 years ago. You stood in for Ride. You remember that?
I do.
And I asked you, I said, Alcorn runs for 300 yards per game.
And I specifically said, not on us.
Right. You basically gave us a guarantee that wasn't going to happen. They run for like 282 this year. Will they run for 282 against you?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And what do you remember about having to stop them? How effective were they against you 3 years ago? And I know they're a different team, different players.
Yeah. But you know what? I think we both are very similar to the 15 seasons. They had a very capable and able quarterback. They had a very good running back at that time. The offensive line was pretty much the same that they have now. This group possibly a little more athletic, but I think we're much better defensively than we were in 15. We're definitely faster, and we're playing with 7 guys that have a lot of playing experience. A lot of them, have been playing 3 and 4 years. So put the ball down. Let's play.
What do you think about, because I looked at the stats, you are first or second in rushing defense, but they're like 8th. Doesn't seem like a 295 day by one of your guys is in the offing in terms of their play. What do you think about the way their defense plays?
I think they play hard. You know, that's the one thing that stands out about their defense. They play with a lot of emotion and a lot of effort. And they do lead in sacks. They get upfield.
Yeah.
They get upfield. And I can say this, we lead in not giving up sacks. So put the ball down.
Your quarterback, Lamar Reynard, he's going to be his last game, as you said, his decorated career. Is that going to be a challenge of just keeping him from pressing or getting too amped up? I know he's a veteran and all, but what do you think his mindset is going to be?
Let's not talk that into existence.
Yeah.
Well, I really think he's a level-headed young man, you know, and he knows what he has to do for us to be successful. And that is to, you know, remain cool, calm, and collected, and take what they give him. We don't need him to be supernatural. We need him to just play a good, solid football game and make good, sound decisions and get a ball to Colorado.
You mentioned they do lead the nation in sacks. What do they do? Do they blitz a lot, or is it just the front
Yes, they
guys?
do.
Okay, they blitz
They
a
do.
lot.
They blitz quite a bit, and the situational blitzes for the most part. But they kind of have tried to take a little piece from our scheme playing vertically.
Okay.
You know, Coach Frenchers was here with us in 15 as the defensive line coach, and taught him a thing or two, but not everything.
Did some of that, did they play that same kind of defense? Is that what opened those lanes for Tariq to get off like that 3 years ago?
No, they wasn't playing vertically then. It was more two-gapping and you know, sideways, you know, one lateral. And you know, he was able to, you know, find some creases, but we'll create some creases as well. You know, some of them are manifest, and we'll make it happen.
Coach, other than the game, what other events is the team going to participate in? Is there?
Well, when we arrive, we go into aquarium. I think that is one of the most unique places. I really enjoy that visit. Another thing that the kids will do, I'm very proud of, they visit the hospitals and get out and do some community service. And I think that's a very unique thing. This year they have something that's a little different. They have a financial educational session. You know, and I think that is, you know, just fantastic. You know, get these young men some understanding on how to finance, take care of their finances, and the do's and don'ts.
You know who's sponsoring that?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not.
Let me ask you about Lamar. I thought the game against Central was about as good as he's played all year.
Absolutely.
Would you agree with
I
that?
would agree with that.
Was that just a matter of health and rest, or what do you think?
I think it's a combination of a lot of things. Of course, that was one of them. And then the fact that he just settled down and not pressing, you know, trying to do a whole lot. Just take what they give you. They're going to give up something. Just be ready when the opportunity presents itself. And I thought he performed extremely well.
And
Their quarterback, Johnson, does he compare with anyone you've seen this year, or is he different?
You know, I was asked that earlier, and then the one kid that, you know, posed a problem, you know, from a distance was quarterback at Savannah State. That kid can play. You know, he don't have the supporting cast, you know, Johnson has. But athletically, they are very similar. He can beat you with his feet, and he can throw the football well enough.
Does he scare you more with his feet than the arm?
Don't make me say that.
Can I say that?
You can say that. Don't make me say it.
Coach, I know it's a little bit too early to talk about recruiting, but how much of an impact does this game and the exposure from this game affect your recruiting?
Well, I would like to believe, and I'm hoping, I'm praying that that's exactly what it does. You know, give us front page. I mean, for the world to see. You know, when you have a brand such as this A&ST, and then to get the opportunity to be shown on a national platform, that's wonderful. And for us recruiting, we had some recruits in here this weekend that were football players. And, you know, even with the inclement weather, they came. So it really helps, you know, with recruiting, when you're playing in bowl games and having a successful season. It really helps. Everyone want to be a part of a winner.
With that being said, early signing period starts December 19th, or do you anticipate making any announcements that early?
No, we won't. And, you know, I'm not sure how much of that was designed for us. I think that was designed for the big boys, the ones that's fighting over those 5-star guys. You know, so we're not in that arena. So we just continue to do as we do.
Coach, with Khalil Carter out, who's your backup quarterback?
Jalen Fowler. Jalen is a redshirt freshman, come from a very good program, and he's a state champion. So he know how to win. He's a big kid, 6'4", 6'5", with the cannon, and very deceptive when he's running the football. He don't look like he's moving, but he can move. And so we feel very good about it. And with the Lord's will, you'll see him play.
So he hadn't taken a snap this year.
Delaware State.
Delaware State was in play, yeah. Thank you.
And how is Khalil?
Oh, I talked with him last night. He's in very good spirits. He's in very good spirits, but the young man is recovering. And whenever you recover, what he's gonna have to understand, it's gonna take some time. You know, he broke the largest bone in his body, you know, that bears weight. So it's not gonna happen overnight, but it was good to talk with him and to see him in such good spirits.
Will he be able to beat the game?
Absolutely. He can't wait. He trying to get on the sideline, bro. He coming to the sideline. You come to the game, but we're gonna try to keep him off the sidelines.
So this is your first time on this stage as the head coach. You nervous?
No, I don't know what nervous is. Never been nervous. Not when it comes to football. I've been around this thing for 50 years, football itself. This is what we do.
Oh, to add on to that, I mean, I know you have one more game, but have you reflected on what you've been able to accomplish in your first year as a? Nope, not yet.
The job not done yet. Job not done.
Everybody good? Thank you, Coach.
All right.